Welcome back to the Body User Manual podcast. I'm your host, Dr. David Quartell, and today we're going to discuss something that sounds really simple but trips up almost everyone. And it's actually how to start exercising and stick with it. We're talking about the anatomy of fitness, building better mobility, better posture, and ditching pain. But more importantly, we're going to tackle the real question. How do you go from, I should work out to actually doing it? And doing it without losing your mind and going nuts and making it too hard. If you're already working out, it's not as important, but if you're not working out, let's dive in and talk about fitness. And not the kind of fitness that you see on Instagram with people doing handstands on mountain peaks, but the type of fitness that I'm talking about that's real, that's practical. It's like, I'd like to move without groaning type of fitness. I'd like to be able to bend down and lift something up. We're talking about mobility and posture and less living like a rusty tin man. So when I bring this up with patients, everyone tends to get excited like, oh, I want to feel better. I want to look better. I want to function better. But we're all stuck like those rusty tin men if we're not doing something. And the reality tends to set in like, so how do I do it? How do I find the motivation? How do I do it right? What if I do it wrong? What if it looks stupid? What if, right? There are a lot of what ifs, but I'm going to give you the magic formula here, and it's 3 words. Ready? The 3-word magic formula is action absorbs anxiety. That's it. That's the whole secret sauce. You don't have to be a genius to get fit. We live in an age where Google, ChatGPT, YouTube can literally tell you anything you want to know and need to know. Gyms are everywhere. They cost less than streaming monthly subscriptions, of Hulu or Netflix. There's always a way to do it, even if you're just outside or at home. All you need is a little determination. And let me tell you a little bit about what determination actually is, because most people misunderstand it. Take me, for example. My daily routine, I usually use during a week about 2 to 3 hours of meal prep. I take a trip to the grocery store, usually 2 or 3 different grocery stores. I do a cold plunge regularly. I voluntarily jump into freezing water. I go to the gym for an hour a day before work. And this is all during the week, right? I do sauna, I do red light, I do PEMF magnetic therapy. I do stretching. I'm in bed before 10 o'clock every night. And then before I go to bed, I do my prep work also, my morning water, my morning coffee, my gym bag, the food for tomorrow. It's like a wellness Santa Claus visit at my house every night that I'm doing with prep work. And then I do breath work. I'm not doing that as often as I should, but I'm trying to, right? And most people will say, wow, you have tons of discipline. But I don't. I really don't have a lot of discipline. I've always struggled with discipline. But what I have is something much more powerful than discipline. It's habits. You see, it takes a little bit of discipline to form a habit. But once the habit starts, it runs on autopilot. You don't need discipline to keep a habit going. And if you don't think this is true, think about a 4-year-old. If you've ever spent any time with a 4-year-old, you know that they have zero interest in personal hygiene. Brushing their teeth, it's a torture. Taking a bath, got to negotiate every time. Wiping after going to the bathroom, good luck with that conversation. The little kids don't know how to do that. But with consistent effort, these behaviors become a habit, right? So now as adults, you don't need discipline to take a shower or brush your teeth or to wipe after your poop. There's nobody there making you do it. It's just automatic because it's become a habit, right? And the great part is this, you only need a little discipline at any one time. And if you focus that discipline like a laser beam on a new activity, once that activity sticks, it becomes a habit. And then you can pick up that little bit of discipline and aim that laser beam focus somewhere else. Just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And that's how you build a life that looks disciplined, but in reality, it's just multiple habits. And looking at my routine again, these are all just habits. They weren't built overnight. Like right now, my breath work isn't a habit, so that's where my discipline is focused, on turning that into a habit. And then once that becomes automatic, I'll redirect my discipline to something else that I want to make a habit, right? People with a lot of discipline might try to create 10, 12, 15 habits at once. You don't have much discipline, you have enough to make one habit, right? And this is the anatomy of the fitness roadmap, right? The habit forming. The first is understanding what is exercise. And exercise isn't just moving around. It has two primary criteria, right? The first is you have to have an elevated heart rate, elevated breathing. And if you're not able to sing while you're doing an activity, it's not exercise, right? The second criteria is you need to have to take a break, right? You can't go indefinitely without rest. That's activity, it's not exercise. Think about if you're hiking up a mountain, you'd need to stop because your legs are staging a muscle rebellion. That would be exercise. So we want to look for breathlessness and we want to look for muscle fatigue. Those should be your new exercise friends, breathlessness and muscle fatigue. And if you're not doing something that's breathing heavy, or if you need to take a break, you are doing something, but it's called NEAT, N-E-A-T, and it stands for non-exercise active thermogenics. You're burning calories, but it doesn't really count as exercise. So breathlessness and regular rest. The second part is, when should you exercise? Here's the deal. A little exercise is nice, but it's not going to transform your body. It's like having only 50 miles left in a gas tank and you have to make a 100-mile trip. You're short. You're not going to make it, right? For exercise, the minimum we're looking for is 150 minutes per week. 150 minutes. But work up to this over time. Also shoot for at least 30 minutes every time you exercise and spread it across 3 or more days. That could be 3 50-minute sessions, 50. It could be 4 40-minute sessions or 5 30-minute sessions. More is better, but don't go crazy. Try to keep it under 60 minutes per session and around 5 hours total per week, 300 minutes. That's the sweet spot because your body does need recovery time. So step 1, look at your real life. Look at yourself in a mirror. Understand where you can carve out time. Is it before work? Is it after work? Lunch breaks, weekends? It doesn't have to be the same time every day, but there has to be a commitment to carving out time. You have to show up. That's the discipline part, carving out time and showing up. And right now, that's the only discipline you need. The actual exercise, that'll happen more naturally once you're actually showing up. And that leads us to part 3, how to exercise. If you ask me my favorite exercise, I'd say it's downhill skiing and martial arts. But you know what I actually do? I go to the gym. Why? Because I live in South Florida. I can't downhill ski regularly. How could that be my regular exercise? I'm in South Florida. It's not going to happen. And I used to do a lot of martial arts, but I stopped because I got tired of explaining to patients why I had karate-related injuries. A black eye is definitely not a great look for a doctor, right? So I chose activities that work best for me, for my life. And I recommend that you do the same. And this is an important point also. Pick something that's not weather dependent. I'm in South Florida. I can go swimming. But consistency is everything. And if rain cancels your workout, you're getting behind, right? So if your exercise is weather dependent, like swimming or surfing or something outdoors, have a backup plan. A home gym, a fitness class, something, anything. If you're already exercising regularly, great. That's fantastic. But maybe just increase the frequency, increase the intensity. If you're starting from 0, start slowly. Spend your first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just getting used to moving, getting used to some activity in your carved out time blocks. Maybe just start with stretching, getting moving, getting your joints ready. Wake up those muscles. Do some light calisthenics. The same stuff that you did maybe in middle school or in high school, bending your toes, some jumping jacks, some burpees. YouTube. YouTube has great 10-minute stretching videos for everything, and activity videos for legs and hips and torsos and shoulders. Do a few different ones every day until you find a routine that you like. Then maybe add some yoga or Pilates, some resistance bands, some light weights. And this activity, when put together and stacked, it allows you to build a solid home exercise routine. And that'll work. But honestly, I recommend getting out of the house when you can. The intensity and productivity of exercise is almost always better at a gym or in a class and when you're around other people. So again, start slowly, because if it takes you 3 months instead of 3 weeks to build an ideal routine, it won't matter in 3 years, right? I'd rather you take too much time getting ready than rush into something and create an injury. Because remember, we're trying to improve our anatomical fitness, not make extra work for the chiropractor. Those injuries, they don't help you. They slow you down. You have to take time off, right? So remember, action absorbs anxiety. Pick one habit and focus in that direction. Use that discipline you have. Show up. Your future self, the one that's bending down to tie your shoes without groaning, getting out of bed without struggling, that future self will thank you. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to have to go cold plunge and get ready for my next day. If you found this helpful, share it with somebody, especially somebody who says, oh, I'll start next Monday. And you know what next Monday means. It doesn't mean that they're not going to do it at all, right? I'm Dr. David Quartell, reminding you that your body didn't come with an instruction manual, but that's what we're building together, one episode at a time, an instruction manual for your overall health and well-being. Until next time, keep moving, stay curious, and take care of that amazing machine that you're living in, your human body.